Well, according to the American Cancer Society, 1 in 7 men in the U.S. will be diagnosed with prostate cancer during their lifetime. In recognition of Prostate Cancer Awareness Month, we have Dr. Jeffrey Albaugh along with Tom Kirk here to share advice on how patients and caregivers can get help and support all year long. Welcome, Dr. Albaugh and Tom. Thank you so much for joining us today. And tell us, what are some of the signs, if we can first, of prostate cancer?
Well, I think it's important to know that there are no signs early on when prostate cancer begins. There are not going to be signs and symptoms, and that's why screening can be important. You want to sit down with your provider and determine when is the right time and how often you should do your screening, because there aren't signs and symptoms. But prostate cancer is the #1 non-skin cancer in men, affecting about 1 in 7 men in their lifetime.
Now, how prevalent is prostate cancer? Because I know when I go and have my physical, they're always checking for that PSA test and the variations that can occur and how low it is and how high it is.
Definitely. So prostate cancer, as I said, is the #1 non-skin cancer in men. It is something that we have to be concerned about. And so there's 2 pieces to the screening, really, the PSA blood test and the digital rectal exam, the physical exam that goes along with it. Both are very important. But, you know, again, you kind of need to decide with your provider how often should it be done, when should it be done the first time, and then go from there.
Mm-hmm. What are some of the lifestyle implications and fears that patients and their caregivers have about prostate cancer?
Well, I think that caregivers, what research has shown, and what I've found as a researcher, an author, and advanced practice nurse, I've found that patients are concerned, they have some obstacles. They're concerned about decision making. They need help and information. And they typically turn to 2 places for help and information: their healthcare provider, which is an excellent source, and the internet. The internet can be a helpful source, but there's a plethora of information out there, and how do you determine what's the right information? And so really we're here today to try to guide people to some good information and good resources.
And those good resources, because again, when you go online, when you go on the internet, when you go on the web, there's just so much information that can be bombarded to you, and it can be confusing. So it's best to sit down and talk with your local provider that you do have, right?
Absolutely essential to go to your provider and the healthcare team. Talk to the doctors, the nurses, the whole team about the questions you may have. Bring your significant other along with you so that you can both be informed, because families are often impacted by this as well. But I think an excellent internet resource, and that Tom is the president and CEO of, is us2.org. Tom, can you tell them a little bit about that?
You bet. Yes, us2.org. And what we talk about with Us2 is, if you're affected by prostate cancer, Us2. We're people who've walked the pathway. We're people who understand and that you can talk to. And our website is www.ustoo.org. And we also have a helpline and a source for you to find information about where support groups are in your local area.
And Tom, that is just unbelievable information. It's just so critical for the person who may be diagnosed with prostate cancer, because your help groups can actually hold a hand and walk with those people, and it's so comforting to have someone to talk to on the phone or in person as well, correct?
That's exactly right. And think of the volunteers who are giving back, men who've gone through this experience and their wives who've had this experience. So they're people who are veterans, who know personally what's happened to them. And on our helpline, we also have hundreds of volunteers who are available to talk to you in person and be matched with a similar experience.
Dr. Tom?
There's no reason to suffer in...
Yes, sir. We're out of time.
There's no reason to suffer in silence.
Yes, sir. We understand. Thank you so very much. We're out of time, and we appreciate you joining us today from Chicago, Illinois.
Thank you so much for the opportunity, Tom.
And we've got more after the break, so stay with us.